6.6 trapezoids and kites. 6.6 trapezoids and kites. So this is all the stuff that we will be talking about today. In a trapezoid, first we're going to start with a trapezoid. In a trapezoid, we have parallel lines. So by definition, a trapezoid is a four-sided shape where just one set of opposite sides are parallel. The other set are not. So we have a trapezoid that looks like this. When we have a trapezoid, the other two legs that are not parallel are called legs. Base angles are going to be at the bottom. So these two would be base angles, and then on the other side, these would be base angles to this other parallel leg. Okay. Another thing that we have is isosceles trapezoid. So just like an isosceles triangle, where two sides are the same, an isosceles trapezoid means the two legs are congruent. If the two legs are congruent, then that is going to be an isosceles trapezoid. So we have two things about isosceles trapezoid. So both of these are both isosceles trapezoids. Again, this is only when we have a trapezoid and the legs are congruent. If we have a quadrilateral that's an isosceles trapezoid, then the base angles are congruent, meaning that this angle right here is congruent to this angle right here, and then this angle right here is congruent to this angle right here. Those are the base angles. If you have an isosceles triangle, the diagonals are congruent. So if I were to draw in the whole length from this point to this point, from my two vertexes, those would be the same. So first question, using our properties, it says an isosceles trapezoid. It's what our measure of angle are? Well, it's asking for all of them. So a couple of things. In a trapezoid, it doesn't matter what type of trapezoid it is. If in a trapezoid, your angles that are on the same leg, they're supplementary because it is a trapezoid. So if this angle is 75, then these two angles have to add up to 180 degrees. So I can do 75 plus angle T is equal to 180. If I subtract the 75, I get 105. Now, the nice thing then is that angle T is equal to angle U because these two are base angles. And I also know then that angle R is also going to be equal to 75 because these two are base angles. So again, when we have angles on the same leg in a trapezoid, they're supplementary. Now, if I look at this, properties of trapezoids. We're looking that DE is parallel to BC. Now, one thing, we have this large triangle. Now, if this is an isosceles trapezoid, that means my base angles are the same. So those are both equal to Y. Now, in this triangle, then this is actually an isosceles triangle. So in this triangle, I can say 2Y because Y plus 32 is equal to 180. Because in a triangle, all the angles equal 180. Pause the video and finish solving that yourself. So Y is equal to 74. Now, if Y is equal to 74, remember these two are supplementary. Same side interior angles are supplementary. Then I can say that X plus 74 is equal to 180, and I get that X is equal to 106. So Y is equal to 74, X is equal to 106. We also have a thing called the mid-segment of a trapezoid. So a mid-segment is if we have a trapezoid, so again, looking at this is not an isosceles trapezoid. If you have a line that cuts the trapezoid in half, and these two lengths of the leg are congruent, and these two lengths of the leg are congruent, this is the mid-segment. So if we want to figure it out, we have this equation right here. So if we have this length, 2 times this length will be equal to your two bases added together. That's the equation. That's the formula since this is a mid-segment. So in this question, it says TU is mid-segment. It's already telling us that this is equal to this, and this is equal to this. So now we can use these base lengths. So 2 times my mid-segment, 2x plus 10, will be equal to my base on top plus my base on bottom. I want you to pause the video and finish solving that equation. You should have gotten that x is equal to 7. There we go. So in the next shape that we have, and I don't have a shape of it, but it's a kite. So before we get into the property of a kite, let's talk about the definition of a kite. When you have a kite, by definition, that's not the best kite that's drawn. By definition, it's going to have 2 lines over here that are congruent and the other 2 lines congruent. So not opposite. The two consecutive lines are congruent and 2 other consecutive lines are congruent. In a kite, whenever we have a kite, we know that if you have a kite, the diagonals are perpendicular. So we have that this line and this line creates a 90 degrees. So these are going to be 90 degrees. So in this picture, we have that this is a kite. So again, that means that this is congruent to this, and this one's congruent to this one. We also know that the diagonals are perpendicular. So this is equal to 90, 90, 90, 90. So I already know angle 1 is equal to 90. So now I have to try to figure out what this is equal to, what angle 2 is equal to. Well, one thing, when we have a kite, when you have this diagonal right here, that cuts that into two isosceles triangles. We have an isosceles triangle up top, and we have an isosceles triangle on bottom. So that means if this angle is equal to 40, that means this angle is also equal to 40 because of this isosceles triangle. Now, I also know then I have this triangle right here. Since this is 90, 40, we can say angle 2 plus 90 plus 40 is equal to 180. So angle 2 would be equal to minus 130 because those two together equal 130, and I get 50 degrees. So angle 1 is 90, angle 2 is 50. Bing, bada, boom. That's all I got for you today. Have a great, grand, wonderful day.